The US is reportedly weighing strikes on Venezuelan territory, and President Trump has warned that any Venezuelan jets threatening American ships will be shot down after 2 F-16s buzzed a US warship. The rhetoric is a sign of the growing tensions and stakes in the Caribbean as a buildup of US forces hints at further action to come, part of what Washington portrays as a fight against drug cartels and their shipments to the US. The president also announced 10 F-35 fighters would be sent to Puerto Rico as part of the growing military presence in the region. The new deployment follows Pentagon reports that 2 Venezuelan F-16s flew over a Navy destroyer, which they described as a highly provocative move, warning the cartel running Venezuela is strongly advised not to pursue any further effort to obstruct, deter, or interfere with counter-narcotics and counter-terror operations carried out by the US military. President Trump also added, if they do put us in a dangerous position, they'll be shot down. Tensions have risen following a US strike on a Venezuelan boat the US government claims was carrying illegal drugs, resulting in the killing of 11 people. According to President Trump, the strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reinforced that message, saying such attacks will happen again, as the US seeks to create a deterrent against narcotic smuggling. Venezuela's President Maduro has accused the US of seeking a regime change through military threat, something denied by President Trump, who said, "We're not talking about that, but we are talking about the fact that you had an election which was a very strange election, to put it mildly." Which perhaps sounds less like a denial of military pressure and more like a denial that the regime is legitimate. And Maduro has reason to be nervous. At last count, the US has 7 warships, a fast attack submarine, and 4,500 sailors and marines in the region, plus various aircraft in addition to the 10 F-35s on their way. Multiple reports also claimed the White House was considering targeting cartels inside Venezuela itself, although there's been no official statement. Whether or not regime change is the goal, the deployment looks very much like a concerted effort to push back against Chinese, Iranian, and Russian influence in South America, a natural extension of current US efforts in the Middle East, Ukraine, and the South China Sea. Venezuela has signed a 20-year cooperation plan with Iran and is the region's top purchaser of Chinese military hardware. That the US would prioritize the removal of foreign influence in South America, its own backyard, is a predictable extension of US foreign policy. It sits alongside Washington's economic pressure on China through tariffs and blocking Chinese transshipments via Mexico. Mexico's president announced just days ago it was considering imposing its own tariffs on China. How far the US will go and the precise nature of this plan is not yet clear, but the broader game plan is emerging, targeting Chinese and Iranian influence and their sources of funding through both economic and military means.